The 7 compliments women can't resist. Use these and she'll obsess over you. Let me ask you something bold. What if one simple sentence from you, just a few honest words, could leave a woman thinking about you for days, even years? Sounds impossible. It's not. Most men over 50 still rely on worn-out lines. You're beautiful. You're sexy. I love your hair. Sure, those compliments might feel good for a second, but they fade fast, like perfume in the wind. What truly lasts? A compliment that reaches deeper, one that touches her soul, not just her ego, one that makes her feel seen, heard, and remembered. Because here's what many men miss. Women over 45 don't just want attention, they want connection. They want to feel cherished, not for how they look under the lights, but for how they shine when no one's watching. So if you're between 45 and 75, living in the US, and ready to create real, lasting emotional chemistry, this is for you. These 7 compliments aren't about flattery, they're about truth. And the final one? It's something most women never hear, but deeply crave. So stay with me, because once you learn how to say these the right way, she'll never forget you. And if you've ever given or received a compliment that changed everything, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. Let's build connection, one real moment at a time. Compliment 1, that scent you're wearing, it's unforgettable. There's something deeply personal, almost sacred about the way someone smells. Fragrance isn't just about a bottle of perfume, it's memory, it's mood, it's chemistry. 1. Breath of the right scent can take you somewhere unexpected, back to a porch swing on a humid summer night, or that quiet hug that lingered a little longer than expected. It doesn't go through the brain, it goes straight to the heart. So when you lean in and say, that scent you're wearing, it's unforgettable. You're not talking about a product, you're talking about presence. You're telling her that she stays with you, that she walks away, but something about her remains. And that is powerful, especially for a woman in her 50s or beyond, who's lived life, poured herself into others, maybe even gone unnoticed in seasons where her identity was more about taking care of others than being seen herself. This kind of compliment lands differently. You're not saying she smells nice. You're saying, you affect me. You're saying, your presence has weight. You linger in the best way. I remember you. It's a simple sentence, yes, but it carries emotional weight. And if you say it with calm confidence, without trying too hard, she'll feel it. She'll feel appreciated not for what she's wearing, but for how she shows up in the world. That's how you create a moment she'll revisit long after you're gone, because when a woman feels felt, she doesn't just hear the compliment, she keeps it. Compliment 2. Your smile changes the whole room. There's something rare about a smile that doesn't just sit on a face, but shifts the entire energy of a space. Most smiles are polite, some are practiced, but hers, it's genuine. It's the kind that makes people feel like everything's going to be okay, even if they walked in carrying the weight of the world. When you say to her, your smile changes the whole room, you're not just complimenting the curve of her lips or the brightness of her teeth. You're noticing her effect, the way her presence softens the edges of a hard day, the way she brings warmth into a cold conversation without even trying. And for a woman over 50, who has likely smiled through triumphs, heartbreaks, birthdays, empty nests, maybe even loss, her smile isn't just an expression, it's a story, it's a strength. She may not even realize it anymore. She may have been giving that light for so long that she forgot how powerful it truly is. That's why your words matter. You're telling her you bring something into the room that no one else can. Not because she's trying to impress, but because she is who she is. Graceful, grounded, and still glowing, no matter what life has thrown at her. This kind of compliment reminds her that her joy isn't invisible, that her presence matters. And when she hears that from you, not as flattery but as truth, it stays with her. The next time she smiles, she'll wonder if you're noticing. And chances are you will be, because once you've seen that kind of light, you never forget it. Compliment 3. I love how real you are. It's rare these days. Let's be honest, authenticity is harder to find than ever in a world full of filters, rehearsed conversations, and people pretending to be what they think others want. Someone who's genuinely themselves is like a breath of fresh air. So when you look a woman in the eye and say, I love how real you are, you're giving her something far more valuable than praise. You're offering her recognition. You're saying, I see you, not the mask, not the performance, the real you, and I like that version best. For a woman over 50, this hits especially deep, because she's lived enough life to know the cost of honesty. She's learned when to speak up and when to stay quiet, when to show up for others, even if it means hiding her own feelings. She's likely been judged for being too outspoken, or too emotional, or too strong. Yet through it all, she's remained true to herself. And when you acknowledge that, it's not just a compliment, it's validation. You're telling her that she doesn't have to try harder, dress flashier, or say the right thing to impress you. Who she already is, in her natural, unfiltered, beautiful truth, is more than enough. And here's the thing. When a woman feels safe being herself with you, that's when the real connection begins. That's when walls come down, laughter gets louder, and conversations go deeper because you're not just seeing her, you're accepting her, all of her. And in a world that constantly pressures women to tone it down or fit in, hearing, I love how real you are, can feel like the most romantic thing she's ever been told. Compliment 4. You have a way of seeing the world that really makes me think. There's something powerful about a woman who doesn't just observe the world, but interprets it in her own unique way. She doesn't follow the crowd. She doesn't repeat what everyone else says. She speaks with thought, with depth, and often with a quiet wisdom that only life can teach. So when you say, you have a way of seeing the world that really makes me think, you're not just complimenting her intelligence, you're honoring her perspective. And that's something most women over 50 rarely hear. For decades, she's likely been praised or judged for how she looks, how she dresses, or how well she keeps things together. But how often has someone stopped and told her, your mind moves me? It's a different kind of connection, a richer one. You're letting her know that her thoughts matter, that you're not just listening to reply, you're listening to understand, and that what she shares with you doesn't just pass through your ears. It stays with you, it challenges you, it opens something in you that was closed before. That kind of compliment creates emotional intimacy because a woman who sees the world through her own lens wants to be met by someone who respects it, not someone who corrects it or shrugs it off. You're saying, you make me better, not by teaching, but by simply being you. And when she hears that, she'll feel respected not just for her body or her role in your life, but for her mind. That's not flattery, that's reverence. Compliment 5. Your energy makes me want to be a better man. There are people who walk into a room and demand attention, and then there are those who don't have to say much, but when they enter, something shifts, the air gets lighter. The space feels calmer. You feel more grounded, more focused, like just being around them pulls you closer to the best version of yourself. That's what her energy does. So when you say, your energy makes me want to be a better man, you're not just offering praise, you're expressing impact. You're letting her know that she doesn't just inspire you, she elevates you. That's not flirtation, that's admiration, and it means everything, especially to a woman in her 50s or beyond, someone who's spent decades showing up for others, pushing forward, keeping her head high even when life got heavy. Her presence has been shaped by resilience, love, loss, laughter, and a lifetime of quiet strength. And when you reflect that back to her, when you acknowledge that who she is challenges you to rise, you give her a rare kind of gift. You're telling her, "Bray, you don't just look good, you help me feel good about who I am becoming." That's deep, that's different, that's unforgettable, because most men don't say things like this. They may compliment her appearance, her accomplishments, but few take the time to acknowledge how her presence actually changes them. And let's face it, at this point in life, we don't just want sparks, we want substance. We want people who feed our spirit, who make us think bigger, act better, love deeper. So if she brings that into your life, tell her. Let her know that her energy isn't just appreciated, it's transformative. Because that kind of compliment doesn't just make her smile, it makes her proud to be herself. With compliment 6, you're one of the most thoughtful people I've ever met. There's a quiet kind of beauty in someone who remembers the little things, things you didn't even know mattered until they brought them up. She remembers how you take your coffee. She checks in after a tough day, not because she has to, but because she wants to. She notices when your tone changes or when your energy drops. She listens, really listens to what you said 3 weeks ago and brings it up at just the right time. That's not random, that's thoughtfulness. And in today's world, that kind of heart is rare. It's not loud. It doesn't ask for applause, but it's consistent and it's deeply, deeply human. So when you look her in the eyes and say, "You're one of the most thoughtful people I've ever met," you're doing more than giving a compliment. You're witnessing her. You're saying, "I see how much care you put into the people around you, and I want you to know it matters. You matter." For a woman who's spent her life giving, raising children, supporting a partner, showing up for friends, sometimes putting herself last, those words can be healing. They remind her that all that love she pours into the world doesn't go unnoticed. And here's the thing. She doesn't give because she wants praise. She gives because it's who she is, but that doesn't mean your appreciation won't mean the world. When you recognize her emotional generosity, her ability to hold space for others, to comfort, to nurture, you offer her something so many forget to give, gratitude, and in that moment, she won't just feel appreciated, she'll feel valued, she'll feel respected, she'll feel seen, and that, my friend, is a feeling no one forgets. Compliment 7. You make people feel safe, understood, and appreciated. There's a special kind of woman who doesn't just walk into a room, she grounds it. She doesn't try to take over the conversation. She doesn't need to be the loudest or the flashiest. But somehow, when she's there, people breathe easier. The room settles. There's a feeling, calm, warm, welcoming. That's not luck. That's emotional presence. So when you say to her, "You make people feel safe, understood, and appreciated," you're not just giving a compliment. You're holding up a mirror to the kind of woman who brings peace into chaos, clarity into confusion, comfort into discomfort. And here's the truth. Women like that don't always know the impact they have. For years, sometimes decades, they've been the steady hand, the listener, the caretaker, the one who keeps others from falling apart while often holding themselves together in silence. They've been the shoulder to lean on, the voice of reason, the emotional anchor when things got messy. So when you take the time to say, "I feel safe around you, I feel seen with you, I feel like I matter when I'm near you," it cuts through the noise of everyday praise. Because you're not admiring how she looks, you're admiring how she makes people feel. That kind of recognition. It sinks deep, deeper than "you're beautiful," deeper than "you're amazing," because it speaks to who she truly is. Not the role she plays or the face she shows the world, but the energy she carries quietly, humbly, powerfully. And when a woman feels that kind of presence has been seen, she softens. Not because she's weak, but because she's finally being received with the same grace she gives. So if she's that kind of woman, tell her. Tell her now. Because feeling safe, understood, and appreciated, that's not just a compliment. That's a rare gift, and she deserves to know she's the one who brings it. Final thoughts. Let's be honest. Anyone can say, "You look nice," or "That's a pretty dress." And while those words might bring a momentary smile, they rarely touch the heart. But the compliments you've just read, they go deeper. They speak to the soul of a woman, to her strength, to her softness, to her story. Because when a woman especially one in her 50s, 60s, or 70s, hears that she's not just seen for her appearance, but felt for her presence, respected for her wisdom, and valued for her essence. Something powerful happens. She opens up. She glows differently. She remembers you. So if you're the kind of man who's no longer chasing attention, but seeking connection, this is your playbook. It's not about saying the most. It's about saying the right thing at the right moment with real heart behind it. Because real love at any age starts with being seen, heard, and appreciated for who we truly are. So go ahead. Pick one of these compliments. Say it today to someone who matters. Watch what happens. And if one of these lines spoke to you, if it reminded you of a woman you love or one you've lost, or one you hope to meet, leave a comment below. I read everyone, and trust me, your story might be the light someone else needs. And don't forget to follow, because next time, I'm sharing the one text message that melts her heart every morning. Without sounding forced, flirty, or fake. It's the kind of message that makes her feel seen, valued, and emotionally connected, all before her first cup of coffee. Hit follow so you don't miss it. And if this resonated with you, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts or who you're thinking about right now. Let's keep building real connection, one honest word at a time.